Hey, it's me, Vicky Marie. Now, I'm sorry. Oh gosh, there's loads of you here. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry I'm not showing my face today, but it's so cold here. Believe it or not, it's really cold. Well, it's 15 degrees, which I know you probably don't think is that cold. But bearing in mind, I don't have any heating. We don't have any heating in our Spanish houses. And I've got my pajamas on and my dressing gown because also it's been a long day, a lot of classes, which is good. But yeah, and to be perfectly honest, I just couldn't be bothered getting all dressed up. So, and I'm too vain to sit here in my dressing gown. I'm not actually, I wouldn't care, but I just wouldn't subject you to it. It wouldn't be very nice. Okay, so oh gosh, I've got a very interesting podcast for you tonight. I'm really the more you look into podcasts and things from the time of Nicola Bulley's disappearance, etc. There's so many that I haven't seen, I didn't even know about, and the more investigations that I'm making. These interesting podcasts, and tonight's is really, really interesting for many reasons, which you'll see, which become apparent. No, Chumba, I wouldn't look good in a bin liner. Chumba's saying I would look good even in a bin liner. No, I wouldn't. Oh, Irish Eyes has been a member for 1 month. Yes, and I know I'm going to. So, I don't know if Claire's here. I know Rio's here, or I think Rio's here. Because what I'm going to do is, it's become a tradition now, isn't it? If it's my members or my subscribers or anyone in a live, if it's your birthday, you get the dubious pleasure of me singing happy birthday to you. So let me actually, I'm going to show. Oh, that's the wrong one. That's the wrong one. Sorry. Gosh, it's all moving so quick. That's the one I want to show. So yeah, Mal has been a member for a month, and I'm going to sing happy birthday to Rio and Claire, but in Spanish. So, cumpleaños feliz, cumpleaños feliz, te deseamos todos, cumpleaños feliz. Yeah. Okay, so happy birthday. Yeah, happy birthday to Rio and Claire. Though I do not think, oh, I just tried to take that down. I don't think Claire's here, or at least not yet. So, the other thing I want to do before we start is thank everyone, as always. Thank you to Mal and all my members. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you to anyone who's helped my channel in any way, shape, or form. Even trolls, because you just anytime you're nasty about me, that brings someone else to watch my channel. And any interaction is better than no interaction. And the other thing I wanted to say is thank you to those of you special thanks to the members. We've got our members live tomorrow. I've got some very interesting things to show you on the members live as well tomorrow. And we've all been sending in our pets, or you've all been sending in your pets. So anyone who wants to send me photos of their pets, please do that. I want to thank people have bought me a Ko-fi, or they've sent me a super, or they've PayPal me, or they've emailed me. Now, I just want to say I'm getting a very lot of emails at the moment. So please don't be offended if I haven't answered your email. I do try and keep up with everything, comments, emails, etc. But, in a good way, to be honest, sometimes it's just not possible. Because it's not this is not what I do full time. I do have to earn a living in the meantime and teach Spanish. So, but thank you, because all of this, like when I get trolled, like I have been this week, and you get it's you, all my anyone who watches me, participates, sends me a nice comment, sends me a nice email. It's all you that keep me going. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, I'm going to say hello to everybody now, and then we'll get going. I seem to have got, why have I got two there? Oh, no, Funky's been a member for 2 months. So thank you. Thank you for being a member for 2 months. Thank you. Not only for joining, but then staying as a member. Thank you. Right, I've got to try and get back to the, thank you so much. Now, gotta get confused when I start doing stuff. Thank you so much, Funky and Irish Eyes. Now then, what I'm going to do is say hello to everyone now. So I'm going to have to go right back up to the start of the chat. Just say a quick hello to everyone. Oh, Rustic Rach, please put a spell on the trolls. Sorry, I've just seen that on my way up. Yes, I believe in spells. You know, yeah, why not? I mean, it's worth a try, isn't it? You know, spells are like prayers. They're like energy, you know, and if you put your energy to something, maybe it will work. Gosh, I seem to have the sniffles today. I hope I'm not coming down with a cold. Okay, so Chumba, you were first today. Hi, Chumba. Hi, Princess. I hope you're feeling better now after your little accident. Hi, Funky. Oh, my mouse is working weird. So some of you have hit the like already. If you haven't hit the like, please don't. Please remember to hit the like. Carol, a wet day in the UK. It's not wet here, but it's chilly. It's chilly for Spain. Looking forward to spring already. We've got quite a long way to go for that. Hi, Jackie with a Q, because we have a couple of Jackies come on here. Hi, David. Oh, Jackie, you've missed a few. Yes, Jackie, time just flies by so quickly. Rio, happy birthday. Feliz cumpleaños, chica. Hi, Gail. Her YouTube queen, yeah. I wish. Maybe one day. I want to be queen of your hearts, like Princess Diana. Hi, Tina. So I'm working. Right, my mouse is working a bit better now. It wasn't working properly. I couldn't get down. Can't get down your comments. Say hello to everyone. I think. Hi, Gail. I can't remember now if I said hello to you. Hi, Rustic. Oh, don't start talking about chocolate. I haven't got any chocolate, don't think. Yeah, we sang a happy birthday. Oh. Who's a pick freak? Sorry, I'm miles away. Getting distracted. I'm not going to get distracted because people will be waiting for this podcast, and it is worth waiting for, honestly. I'm not just saying that because it surprised me. Oh. Hi, Desi. Oh, I hope I don't miss anyone. There's a lot of chat. Hi, Ian. No, we don't have a date, I'm afraid. We'll wait any minute. That's what I'm sort of waiting for. It's due out in the autumn. That's what they said. You know, you just don't know, do you, with that police force? No dick pics. I'm loving these pet photos now because, of course, we did the Halloween photos for Halloween, and we will in December be doing. We're going to have each month. We'll have a theme. Well, December will be Christmas, obviously, and this month, November, because it's sort of like a funny time, isn't it? It's sort of between Halloween and not. I don't like talking about Christmas until December. So we're going to have animals, pets, and it's been so nice getting the pictures in of the pets because it's just lovely, and a real diversity of pets as well. It's not just dogs and cats; it's loads of different ones. Hi, Tina. I can't remember if I said hello to you. Tripod cat. Well, don't forget to send a photo in, Jackie. Gosh, I will get down here in a minute. Oh, what happened there? Well, I hope I don't miss anyone because my mouse, for some reason, is acting really odd. Oh, Rio, they're on other. They're not. Oh, I don't see many trolls on here. Well, they'd come on here and they'd just be off straight away. I wouldn't stand for them. But sometimes it's sneaking. But this particular big troll, I think he might be a policeman. I've got a feeling he might be in the police. And I'll explain that on members tomorrow. I'll show you something. I don't want to show them publicly here because, don't know who's watching, but I've got a funny feeling about this guy. Anyway, on like Facebook, etc. My son has said to me, I've just got to switch off from it because he said the more popular you get, the more trolls you get. So I've got to look on it as a positive thing. Hi, Carla. Hi, Sky. Rio, what's happened to your membership? Why has your membership disappeared? Sometimes it happens when people tune in from different things. Do you know what I mean? Oh, so Funky has gifted a membership. So somebody will get a membership. Somebody who's on this chat who is not a member will get a membership. Thank you so much, Funky. That's very kind. Thank you. Oh, Sky. What? Oh, you had one that was gifted, Sky, but they run out after a month. You get a month's membership. I don't really understand exactly how because also you can't, unfortunately, because there's plenty of times when people would like to gift someone in particular, but you can't do that. You do a gift of a membership and and YouTube decides in their, what they're like with their algorithms. They decide in their weird and wonderful way who to give it to. So I think Sky got a membership from that was gifted, but yeah, it lasts a month. So Funky's just gifted a membership. So somebody who's on here tonight, hi Heather, will get one. So that was very kind. Thank you. The other thing I want to do is say hello to anyone who's at home who isn't. Not everybody wants to participate in the chat, I know. So if you're at home watching, hi, good evening. Hi, Linda. I didn't see Linda arrive, but I can see Desi saying hello to Linda, so I'm presuming it's Linda. What's Linda? Oh, dear. Yes, DMV. Hi, DMV. You're right. It's because, as I say on my Spanish channel, I don't get any trolls. But and also it is all about Nicola Bulley. And I was thinking about it. Nicola Bulley, people, tell us to get over it. But these people are still trolling. They're still trolling. They're still going on all these Facebook groups and looking for any comment that anyone makes that suggests that there may have been foul play or it's not the official narrative and jump on it. So that tells you something as well. I call them the spite squad because there's like a little clique of them and they're all anonymous. You don't. So who are they? It makes you wonder who they are really. And why is it? It's not only me. I mean, I get me and Irish Eyes. We get because we're actual YouTubers, but it's not only us. Anyone who puts any comment on that might suggest that it's not the official narrative, these nasty trolls. And they are nasty, like they're not just saying, like we encourage people to have a debate, say, oh, well, I don't think that. We've all got our own theories about all sorts of things. There's things I think I don't agree with, but I don't jump on them and say, oh, you're an idiot, or start swearing or being personal and saying nasty things. These are really spiteful people. you know, so they're not only debating, they're actually spiteful, nasty people. So it makes you wonder, and then it makes me think, yeah, I'll just carry on, I'll do more. Because I know when I'm upsetting people, who am I upsetting? Who are these people really? You know, so it's interesting. Okay, oops, come on, my mouse gone funny again. So I'm still, yeah, very controversial. I've never known anything, you know, I do also, because I don't only do content about Nicola Bulley, I do lots of different content. And some of the things I do are controversial, but I never get trolled like I do with Nicola. You know, anyone would think, you know, and I think, who's actually trying to find out what happened to Nicola, or who's actually caring about what happened to Nicola? You know, not these spiteful little shits. Oh, Linda received the gift chat. Good. Thank you, Funky, and great for you. So we'll see you tomorrow, Linda, in the members live. Sorry, I don't seem to be getting. I'm sorry for anyone who's waiting. Hi, Ruth. Because I'm just trying to get down and say hello to everyone. There's so many people here. I think I said hello to Heather, but hello again. I got your email, Heather. The photos look great. Oh, I've got to the bottom. Okay, so thank you so much. And you at home as well. Thank you for being here. Don't forget to like, please. Oh, here's Jean. Hi, Jean. It's always funny when I say that, it's like, hi, Jean. Oh, have you been trolled, DMV? Ah, right, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're just nasty. I mean, they're nasty, horrible little shits. And I'm trying to feel sorry for them. I pray for them because there's something wrong with someone who, after. So why are these people, like they're saying, why are we still talking about it all this time later? Why are they still trolling people about it? Have they not got a life? You know, they've got no life, obviously. Because, you know, I just think they don't contribute anything to society, do they? You know, what all the things that they could protest about and care about, you know, that would actually help people, they decide to do this instead. Anyway, that's my thoughts. Hi, Scarlett. Hi, Kelly. Oh, there's new people coming in all the time. Well, I've got to start on this podcast. And I hope I don't miss anyone coming in. Now, so I found this podcast again by accident. You know, I was sort of searching around for podcasts because I've realized that I found so many interesting podcasts. So this is the latest one that I found. Now, yesterday, oh, DMV, God, awful. Oh, well, there you go. That sounds like the Spike Squad to me. I think it's someone who's got a vested interest in the Nicola Bulley case and keeping it all quiet. Personally, I think these people, there's a reason why they're doing it, and I'll tell you that tomorrow. I'll tell you why I think that tomorrow night in the members. I've got some information. Okay. Yes, so the podcast we listened to last night was from The Guardian, wasn't it? And tonight, the podcast that we're going to listen to is from The Times. So these are supposed to be, aren't they, reputable newspapers? You know, they moan about social media, but we saw last night that the Guardian, I won't say Guardian because that's how you say it in Spanish, the Guardian podcast, it was full of misinformation. You know, there were lots of things that were wrong in that podcast. That stupid jumped up little girl saying that Peter Folding had said that Nicola might have run off with someone. Absolute load of tosh. You know, she was, oh, anyway, I won't go into it. If you haven't seen the one from last night, the other podcast from The Guardian, I suggest that you listen to it because you'll just be amazed by the crap they came out with. Anyway, so this one I found is from the Times, and the title of it was Nicola, Bulley and the TikTok Detectives. So I started off listening to it, and as predictably, it is about social media. And, you know, I think the case of Nicola Bulley has created a discussion about social media, isn't it? And I think the mainstream media, it's brought it home to them how they're struggling, really, because people turn to social media because they don't believe the mainstream media. Now, the mainstream media has got a role to play, but it's got to, I know it's constrained a lot of the time by what it can and can't say and legalities and that. Maybe it's over constrained, but you know, it has a role to play and it has to ask questions. That's, you know, the whole point of all, you know, investigative journalism. I feel like that's the thing of the past sometimes, you know, in the mainstream media, and that's why it's all moved on to social media. Oh, look, Rio's a new member. Rio's actually been a member for ages, but maybe payment sort of slipped. Sometimes I don't know, it slips. I don't know. I mean, I am a member actually. Funnily enough, I am a member of my only. I'm a member of my own channel, but it was just so that I could see how it worked. But listen, Mal, don't look at the screen because this is a podcast. It's to listen to, not to look at. So you'll be able to just listen to it. There's nothing to see. So just turn the screen away and listen. There's nothing to see. It's a podcast anyway. So yeah, welcome back. I should have another gift that, because I've got the welcome. We'll welcome Linda tomorrow night if she's on the live. But I haven't got a welcome back one. Okay. So, yeah, we're going. So it is all listening, Mal. You don't have to, there's nothing to watch. So don't even worry about watching. You won't want to see my face just, you know, looking at you. Okay. So I want to tell you, I think this is really, really interesting. And as we go along, we're going to come to a bit that if you remember the TikTokers and the YouTubers that were there on the scene, because this was made on February the 17th, 2 days before Nicola was found. And in this podcast, they get talking to YouTubers and TikTokers who are on the scene. It's very interesting. Okay, so I'm going to press play. I might stop it every now and again. I don't know what the copyright thing is with the times. They might throw me off. I might have to stop it every now and again. But it is just a listening thing. There's nothing to see.
And my guest, Times Radio presenter Daryl Morris. You can catch Daryl's show on Times Radio on Saturday and Sunday nights from 10 p.m. until 1 in the morning. This episode was produced by Taryn Siegel, Ed Drummond and Daryl Morris. The executive producer today was James Shield, and sound design was by Guy Chase. If you can, please do leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. Thanks for listening.
Hello, I'm Alice Thompson.
And I'm Rachel Sylvester.
And this is What I Wish I'd Known, the podcast in which we talk to extraordinary people who've lived astonishing lives and not only survived, but thrived.
Loss and adversity are part of life, but an imperfect past isn't always an indicator of what's to come.
In this series, we'll be speaking to inspiring individuals about how they achieve success in the face of adversity.
Listen now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Go back to your constituencies and prepare for how to win. I'm
Sorry,
Alex
just
Dibble
gonna
from the
fast
Times
forward it a
World
bit
in 10
because,
podcast. Every day we sit down and go through the stories being Dibble from
let
the
me just
Times
fast forward
World
it
in
because
10
it's got all
podcast.
the,
Every day we sit down and go through the stories being broken by our correspondent Dibble from the Times World in 10 podcast. Alex Dibble from the Times World in 10 podcast. From the Times World in 10 podcast. Every day we sit down and go through the stories being broken by our correspondents across the world, and we play you their interviews.
If he could be assassinated by India, what does that leave me as someone who's just his son?
After she was raped by Epstein, she ran.
If you struggle to keep all from the Times World in 10
Sorry about this,
podcast,
it won't let
every
me
day
fast
we sit
forward.
down and go through the stories being broken by our correspondents across the world, and we play you their interviews.
If he could be assassinated by India, what does that leave me as someone who's just his son?
After she was raped.
Times World in 10 podcast. Alex Dibble from the Times World in 10 podcast. Every day, Alex Dibble from the
I'll just
Times
leave it.
World in 10 podcast. Every day, we sit down and go through the stories being broken by our correspondents across the world, and we play you their interviews.
If he could be assassinated by India, what does that leave me as someone who's just his son?
After she was raped by Epstein,
Sorry,
she
we just have
ran.
to wait.
If you struggle to keep up with the news, the World in 10 is for you. Listen wherever you get your podcasts. It is 10 minutes to stay on top of the world.
Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me okay here?
Today marks 3 weeks since Nicola Bulley, a 45-year-old mother of two, went missing while walking her dog in the Lancashire town of St Michael's-on-Wyre.
Very good morning, and thank you.
Nobody can explain what happened to her, and the police say they remain open-minded.
My name is Peter Lawson, and I'm an Assistant Chief Constable here with Lancashire Constabulary. I'm joined to my left by Detective Superintendent Becky Smith. Becky is the Senior Investigating Officer, SIO, in the investigation to find Nicola Bulley.
On Wednesday, during a packed press conference to update the public, the police acknowledged criticism of their investigation.
I'm acutely aware that there continues to be extensive media interest, commentary, speculation, and indeed some criticism of our police investigation.
And it wasn't just media interest. The police made a point of addressing the self-proclaimed private detectives who've descended on the town.
You'll no doubt be aware that TikTokers have been playing their own private detectives and have been in the area.
There was a boy that went missing on the same stretch of river, but get this, it was exactly the
all
same
this
day.
Nicola Bulley stuff started to become really, really weird.
Now, I am in no way a detective at all, but I wanted to share something about Nicola Bulley's Facebook page, which I found quite interesting.
This is weird.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, hang on. There's marks across the grass there, look. No. Don't think of that. You're thinking too far into it. But there's a glove. Hey, that looks like there's blood on it.
A glove has been recovered. That is not believed to be relevant to the investigation. It is not Nicola's, but we have got that in our possession.
It was an unusual press conference.
If Nicola had left out of the river path and turned right, she has not reached the Great Pub.
Describing the current facts of the case in extraordinary detail.
And we can say that because we have CCTV covering both sides of that pavement. So moving on to Nicola's phone.
Trying to address every rumour or suspicion or crackpot theory that had been aired on social media.
I myself don't find it suspicious that fishermen would be in the area of a river that morning or carrying fishing rods. But
for nearly 30 minutes, the police went over every twist.
I just want to go, that what she just said then, remember that was so condescending. Oh, I don't think myself it's strange to see fishermen, a river with fishing rods. But, that was not the fishing season. It was also really early in the morning. I suppose fishermen do go out early in the morning. I don't know. But I think the most relevant thing is they have not come forward. It's not that there were two men there. It was the men did not come forward and say, oh, that was me. You know, that was me. I was just fishing. That's what's suspicious. Not that there were two men there, but they did not come forward and declare who they were, just like the man in black.
Of the investigation so far.
We've shared more detail in this conference than would normally be the case, but intended by doing so that we're able to counter some of the ill-informed speculation and conjecture that has at times distracted the investigation from what ought to have been its priorities.
It seemed like the police were rattled, responding to the deluge of TikTok theories around the case. But when the press conference led to even more rumours online, the police responded again, later that afternoon, with what feels like a huge misstep.
Lancashire Police facing a backlash this morning after officers revealed new personal details about the missing mum, Nicola Bulley.
So who are?
I do think that just outraged everybody, didn't it? When they released all that information about Nicola, it just seems so unfair that she was not there to defend herself. That's when we felt like we had to be her voice.
Are the DIY detectives who seem to be taking up so much police time.
In 29 years police service, I've never seen anything like it.
Is it just about clicks and followers, or is there something bigger motivating them? You're listening to Stories of Our Times from the Times and the Sunday Times. I'm Manveen Rana. Today, the TikTok detectives looking for Nicola Bulley.
I'm Daryl Morris. I'm a presenter on Times Radio, and I host Saturday and Sunday nights from 10 till 1.
Daryl, can you just take us back to the morning of January the 27th?
So, a fairly normal morning in the life of Nicola Bulley and her family. Nicola, who is a mother of two, packed her kids up in the car and her Springer Spaniel, Willow, dropped the kids off at school, as usual, and then drove from her home village in Inskip to the nearby village of St. Michael's on Wyre, where she took a walk with Willow through some sort of woodland come field come river area. It's sort of a nature area behind some houses off a main road. And there's a few important details, I think, that she had sent an email at about 10 to 9, about 8:53, to her employer. At 8:57, she sent a text to one of her friends. They were arranging a play date. And then at just gone 9 o'clock, she joined a Microsoft Teams call with her work. She kept her camera and her microphone off. That wasn't unusual. But then that was the last that people knew of what Nicola Bulley had done that morning. She was last seen at about 10 past 9 on the upper field, walking Willow, the dog, off the lead. And then at 20 past 9, just 10 minutes later, her phone was found at the bench in the lower field. About 9:30, the call was disconnected by the Microsoft Teams host, and a passerby discovered her mobile phone that was still connected to that call, that ended call. Willow was found on his own, near the bench, off his harness, showed no signs of being in the river, showed no signs of real distress, and there the search begins.
Lancashire police are still searching for a woman who went missing on
Mother
Friday.
of two disappeared last Friday morning whilst walking her Springer Spaniel by the River Wyre in
New pictures of Nicola Bulley have been released, showing her on the morning of her disappearance.
Police searching for the missing girl Nicola Bulley are appearing for a potentially key witness who was in the area at the time.
Extensive police searches are continuing, but no trace of her has been found.
When she's spotted as missing, when her phone is found, obviously the police are brought in. What have they been doing since then? I mean, that was 3 weeks ago.
Well, the police's initial search found no evidence of a disturbance. It found no evidence of a third-party involvement. They felt quite confident that they could rule out third-party involvement. The police searched the fields around, and they did what they would describe as a relatively comprehensive search of the fields, to try to find some things, some stuff, if there was anything that Nicola had left behind, or if there was any evidence of a struggle, perhaps, or indeed evidence of Nicola. There are various different exits from that site that she was on that are covered by CCTV. There are 2 or 3 that aren't, but they've been covered off, they believe, by dashcam footage that they've been able to piece together. So their working hypothesis became that Nicola simply has to have fallen into the river.
It just amazes me when you listen to these people talking. He is just making it up. He doesn't know. He said, oh, it's been pieced together, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't know any more than we know. It just amazes me when the mainstream media do exactly what the social media are doing, but when they do it, it's not supposed to be, it's fine, because this is the Times talking. This is the Times newspaper. There's something I just want to say that I just saw in chat. There was an email. Nicola did send an email, but I don't know that we know what the content of that email is. She did send an email, didn't she, to her boss? But I've never seen the content of it, so I don't know what she said in it. And Neil, if you do know what she said in it, and I mean, if you know because you've seen evidence of it, for what, let us know, because I'd like to see what was in that email, but that's never been released.
The police have used their search teams and divers. And then a few days after, a private search team led by a man called Peter Folding.
Here he comes, Peter Folding again. Is he going to slag him off like that girl did? In the other podcast we watched, that girl was... what has she ever done? Listen, Peter Folding, he even said that there was a chance that he might have missed her or whatever. He's not... But what has that girl ever done? That young girl that was slagging him off yesterday in that podcast. How dare she? What has she done with her life? This is what I mean about these trolls as well. They're always sort of keen to sort of put everybody down. And you think, well, what have you ever done with your life? Probably, still live at home. You don't, some of them, they don't even work. They don't work. They don't do anything. They're young people who've, just lived off other people for their short lives. And now they're just like, criticising other people. What have they ever done? So here we go. Let's see what he's got to say about Peter Folding.
Entered the scene as well. They offered their services to Lancashire Police for free. And they began searching around the initial area that the police believe Nicola may have fallen in, and a little bit further up and down the riverbank as well. And he said that after a day, he would be able to conclude whether or not she'd fallen into the river in the initial part that the police think she might have. And he feels fairly confident that she didn't. His search showed nothing. Wow. His search brought no results. His sonar equipment and the time that he'd spent in the river was unable to find Nicola. And this particular river is tidal, so the idea that she will have been swept out to sea without returning back, the way that a tidal river works, the water comes out and then comes back and then goes out and comes back. So the idea that she will have moved a drastic enough distance to take her out to coast and to be unfindable, Peter wasn't particularly convinced about. But as we know, this week police shared some personal details about Nicola and what was happening in her life. We won't go into those. But Peter feels that had the police made him aware of those at the time, that could have changed the way that he approached his work.
That detail didn't...
That's quite respectful. He said, we won't go into those. That's quite respectful. So that's good. Good so far. Honestly, wait till you see what's coming down the line in this interview. Anyway, please just keep listening, because there's something going to come out. It's going to surprise you.
Necessarily need to be released to the public, but it would have been useful if we had been given that information on the day as trusted search experts, bearing in mind we were being tasked by the police search advisor and given areas of water to search. If we'd known on the day, we would have kept it quiet. We wouldn't have told the media, but would have assisted us.
Look, I think this is really complicated as well, because the police have been under a huge amount of pressure with this case from the very start, really. especially since the police released their working hypothesis of the fact that they believed that Nicola was in the river, because that was challenged. That was challenged by the family, by friends, by onlookers, by people across the country, and ordinary people. And even Peter himself questioned that hypothesis. The police have felt under a huge amount of pressure about which details they do and don't release that they have at their disposal. And I think what we're probably seeing here is a bit of an overcorrection on that. And I think that's probably a result of the fact that everybody's got a theory on this, whether you share them online or not.
Tell us a bit about that, because this case has been unusual in many ways. The big...
Sorry, I just want to say, so you heard what you said. He was saying about how everybody was saying, apart from the police, and you could say that the police were proved right in the end because she was found in the river. But he was saying how the family, the friends, everyone was saying, no, it's definitely not the river. But when it came to the inquest, it was just like, oh, yeah, it was definitely the river. We knew because, yeah, she must have tripped up because she always left the harness on, took the harness off and blah, blah. The whole story changed. That's why we're suspicious.
Extraordinary mystery of what happened to Nicola on that morning, but also in the response to it.
I think there's a few elements to that, isn't there? It's a genuine mystery. People want answers to what's happened. There's also a subplot to this story, and this story becoming the scene of a recently growing trend of TikTok sleuths and amateur online detectives, people who dig around mysteries, murders, disappearances, crimes, and dig around online and share videos with their own findings and their own theories. It's become kind of an industry.
Just tell us a bit about that world, because this is something that you've been looking into for a while.
Yeah, I've been following the story of this boom in TikTok detectives for a couple of months now. Some of them sleuthing and commenting on cases from afar. Other people turning up at the scenes of crimes and disappearances. And it seems to me...
So I think he tells a little porky pie there, because he says, oh, yes, I've been looking into these TikTok detectives for a couple of, and these armchair sleuths, which I suppose he means me. I've been looking into it for a couple of months. What a load of bollocks. He hasn't been looking into it for months. He's come up because of the Nicola Bulley case. There might have been little incidents. There's never been anything like that. And the reason why everybody turned up is because it was a mystery. And anyway, you'll hear later when he talks to some TikTokers. This bit that he's going to talk about made me think about, me and why the very first video that I did about Nicola Bulley was because it was a mystery. I called it the riddle by the river. It was like, what happened to this woman? She's just there walking her dog and she disappears off the face of the earth. And by then, the only interviews I'd seen was the one by Paul Ansell by the river where he sort of started grinning. I hadn't seen any Emma interviews or anything. I literally, all I knew was what I'd seen, that this woman had disappeared. And then I'd seen that Paul Ansell interview. And that's why I did a video, because it was so mysterious. It wasn't because I was thinking, oh, I'm going to catch in on this. I didn't know that it was going to become such a popular thing, like as far as videos are concerned. I never think that when I make a video. I make a video because it's something that interests me. And whether people think, people can think whatever they want. I really don't care, because I know what the truth is. I make videos that interest me, and I hope other people will find interesting. I'm going to sit here and make videos that I don't find interesting, about things that I don't give a shit about. I care, and also because of my own background and what's happened to me when I was stalked years ago, and how it feels like it, it just all those things. So anyway, people have different motives. I'm sure some people do it just for the views. I don't know, but I would never say that about anyone. I think anyone who makes a video that helps in some way to solve this, because what they can say it's solved or not. Again, I've got lots of things to show you members tomorrow. It's if people want to think that, well, you can't change the way people think. But I know all of you that are on here tonight, joining in the chat, all of you that are at home, watching at home, you're not doing it because you hate Nicola Bulley or whatever. You're doing it, or even, you know, because you hate anyone who's in the case. You're doing it because you genuinely think this is a mystery and you want to know what the answer is.
That there was, in this case, a coalescence of quite a few big themes of our age in this story. The power of the algorithm, the power of these tech platforms, the cultural and social changes that have altered community and what community means and our sense of belonging in the world, and our human response to both of those things. To be honest, I was also keen to spend some time with people who are clearly quite complicated and challenging characters. Everybody has decided what they think of them. The comments on their videos are full of, they fall into two camps, really, actually. People who are either disgusted by them or cheering them on. There is no real in between. But I felt there was probably a more complex story to dig into here. And I wanted to know what the human motivation was for the people who decide to arrive at the scene of a disappearance.
I mean, tell me a bit about that, because you went down and visited the scene yourself. I mean, firstly, what was it like arriving in that village?
Yeah, it was kind of odd and quite eerie. There was a tense quiet, I think it's probably fair to say.
I thought it was funny that she said, what was it like arriving in that village? And he said it was a bit eerie. It is quite eerie there. I don't know why. I'm sorry for anyone who lives in St. Michael's, but it does. I think I've said to you before, it feels like the village on the film, The House of Wax, where it all looks perfect. It's all picture perfect, but you just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I found it quite eerie, and I wouldn't have liked to walk around there on my own. I really wouldn't. It feels eerie. And I've seen a few videos that have made me, you know, there's a lot of fishermen around there that wander around, a lot of men. The thing is, you know, sorry men, but fishermen are men on their own. And you wouldn't know. I would literally shit myself if I was walking my dog and a man in black, you know, a fisherman, probably some innocent guy come up. I would absolutely shit myself. So there you go. Sorry.
Across the village. And I parked up by some nearby houses and walked through up towards the scene of the bench and the path.
Is it open for anyone to go and see it? It's not cordoned off or anything like that?
Yeah, so this is a big part of the story, I think, is that initially the police didn't cordon it off, and then they did cordon it off. And now, because this isn't technically a criminal investigation, because the police haven't found any reason to suspect a third party or criminal activity, I think there are probably various technicalities that I'm not across here, but as far as I'm aware, I'm not sure that they can just keep this place closed off. And so, yeah, it is open. It's open to the public. Anybody can.
Of course they can. Of course they can, you idiot. They're the police. If they want to cordon it off, they're cordon it off. No one's going to say, oh, you can't cordon it off. I've seen crimes. Well, they're not even in crime scenes. I've seen the police and even the Lancashire police, when someone's gone missing in an area and they thought that maybe they might have deleted themselves, they've cordoned off the area. So he's now talking about, he's turned up there. She's been missing, bless her, for 2 weeks or whatever, nearly 3 weeks, because this was just a couple of days before she was found. When he's turned up there, Peter, and not only Peter, or he was saying they were searching the river, and people are wandering around. Of course you would. You're looking for a body. Of course they would cordon it off. Or they could cordon it off. They just decided not to. It's not that they couldn't do it. If the police wanted to cordon it off, they could cordon it off. They just made, my personal opinion is, right from the beginning, they made a right hash of everything, and they were always on the back foot after that. I know there's some of you out there that think it was a psyops, or they think this or they think that. I don't think any of that. There's something much more, what's the word, more ordinary, if you like, at foot here. Some foul play happened, in my opinion. And I don't know if we'll ever find out the truth. I really don't know. But something different happened to what the narrative is. It wasn't accidental death. Definitely not. And whether we'll ever find out the truth, I don't know. But the police did do it wrong. They did it wrong. Could you imagine? You know, they're looking for a body there in the river, and they haven't cordoned off where they're searching. You know, whether you think it's foul play or not, they want the public to be there when they find a body. Well, that's what happened in the end, wasn't it? Take a video of it. They shouldn't be allowed, because it should be cordoned off. They're just not competent.
Go, sit on the bench, look around the scene of her disappearance, and you could go right up to the riverbank, you could go right up to the side of the river, and you could watch as the divers searched in the river for Nicola. So it's an open scene. As I arrived, there was a bank of journalists and cameras who were up on that path, who were following the search boats. And I went up to one of those journalists and I said to him, could you give me a sense of where I can find some of these so-called vigilantes? I said, I'm here to try to speak to some of these TikTok sleuths and amateur detectives and try to understand why people descend on the scene of a disappearance. And he pointed towards another group of young women and says, you want to speak to those people, young women with bobble hats and gloves and Costa coffee mugs. And he says, you want to speak to those people, the grief junkies.
Grief junkies.
Hiya. Can I borrow you just a sec? Oh, sorry. I'll try. I should have put my wellies on, shouldn't I? So I approached them. That term really stuck with me, actually, grief junkies. And I approached.
There you go. We're grief junkies. Grief junkies. That's what we are.
To them, and I spoke to them. I'm Daryl from the Times, from Times Radio. Are you from around here?
We're from Preston.
From Preston, nearby. Yeah. And I asked them why they were here. What's brought you here?
Just to have a look, really. Just have a walk around. Don't know. It's so close to home, innit? Obviously, I've got kids myself, so it's like, just want to do our bit, so I'll come and have a look.
I was speaking to somebody earlier on who said that, who referred to people coming down as grief junkies, people who are getting a kick out of being here. What would you say to that?
A lot of nonsense. We're there.
It's hard to not, like I say, when you've got kids yourself, it's hard to not want to know what's gone on, to try and help. Like, this guy's come up for free to try and help. So what, we're only doing the same thing really by, having also these other sets of eyes. So.
You feel the same?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
They said Peter Faulding, who's the private investigator, has offered his time for free. He's come up here. What's the difference? Why can't we come and offer an extra pair of eyes?
What's the use of sitting at home doing nothing when we can be here, looking?
Helping, definitely. We've all got eyes, haven't we? We can all look.
One of them, pointing up to the bank of journalists and cameras who were following the search boat, said, are all those people grief junkies too?
It's only the same, isn't it, really?
That's a very good question, isn't it?
No, it's only the same. Just because we're public,
I mean, she is right, isn't she, in a sense? My piece that I was working on will be listened to by editors and lawyers. There is also a clear public interest element here, isn't there? In this story being documented by journalists who are trained, who are regulated by print and broadcast regulators, and having the police held to account. So I think in that respect, it's clearly not the same. But the accusation that we can all occasionally be so-called grief junkies, I mean, maybe that is an accusation that does have an element of truth in it.
Tell us a bit about some of the other people you met there, because they weren't all looking around for clues, quietly with a cup of coffee. Some were actually filming.
Yeah, so I found a guy called Dan Duffy, filming videos on his phone, chatting to other passers-by about his theories. And as I got to chatting to him...
Now, this is what will get you, because I didn't actually know anything about Dan Duffy, because I think right from the beginning, I wasn't really looking at TikTok and YouTube videos. When I did my very first video about Nicola, I was just doing it because of what I thought. I wasn't looking at other YouTube, it wasn't. So I didn't even know who Dan Duffy is. And to be honest, I don't know that well now, but I know a little bit better now. Now, I'm sure those of you out there, if you've been following the case right from the beginning, you will know that Dan Duffy, he was a prolific YouTuber at the time. He was going out there looking for Nicola, etc. Now, there's quite a lot come out about Dan Duffy just recently, and I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But first of all, I just want you to listen to what this guy says, because he has an interview with him.
I realised that he was one of the most prolific TikTok sleuths of the Nicola Bulley case. He was kind of exactly the person that I wanted to find.
And you found him literally in mid-TikTok video.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, mid-content creation, I guess. And you're filming me now?
Yeah, I am filming. I'm just getting some little clips for TikTok. So everyone say hi to, what's your name?
My name's Daryl Morris.
Daryl. Everyone say hi to Daryl Morris from the
Times Radio.
Times Radio. Yeah. Massive shout out to this guy.
His videos of rummaging through these bushes and sometimes in people's gardens have clocked up millions of views. He has 100,000 followers on TikTok. He has 200,000 subscribers on YouTube. And his videos have been one of the main sources that have been feeding this industry of speculation online around this case.
I'm in search of this lady. I want some answers, There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around on the internet, so I'm just trying to find some answers, guys. And there's quite a lot of people out today doing the search. Just normal members of the public, police, you got the sonar out, everyone's here today.
And so what will you do with that?
I'll upload it so everyone can see, so it's like behind the scenes stuff. You do get criticism of some people saying, oh, why are you uploading it? It's like, well, why is the news presenters here? Why is there people like yourself here? I'm just doing what you're doing. We're all the same.
Now, they're not quite the same, because I agree with him up to a point what he was saying there. The mainstream media were there. This guy from the Times was there. Everyone was there, before Nicola was found. Sky News were there. Mark Williams Thomas was there. Everyone was there. So I agree with Dan there with what he was saying, but I want to tell you, because I know, so I can see from the comments before, some of you know about Dan Duffy, what's come out very recently about him, but I want to read to you. I want to read you a message that was now, again, this is on one of the Facebook groups, so, whether it's true or not, but there is a link. I'm going to show a little bit of a YouTube video where apparently the court documents are read out. Now, I watched a bit of this video the other night. I didn't watch how it's a very long video, but if I show it to you, the YouTube, you can go on the YouTube channel and see for yourself if you're interested about Dan Duffy. But basically, the post that came up on the YouTube, on the Facebook channel, was this. It turns out that this Dan Duffy, has a horrific past, which in 2010 left his 4-month-old son with 24 fractures, which happened over 3 days. Now, again, I don't know if this is true. In the video that I'm about to show you in a minute, they apparently show the court documents, which shows it's true. But I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm just reading out what somebody else said. I'm going to show you a video, what people talked about. Now, I don't know the truth. I don't know the full background behind it. But his 4-month-old son with 24 fractures, which happened over over 3 days. This is what's said. Fortunately, his son was removed from his care, and the son has a new identity. So bear in mind, this was in 2010, so it's 13 years ago. Now, Danny, he got arrested while he was a bit like Curtis. He went too far. He was arrested because he wouldn't stop making videos. Anyway, his son has been removed or was removed from his care 10 years ago, and he has a new identity. And then this video that I'm going to show you is apparently because he used to do videos with somebody else. Hi, Jim. Hi, Jim. He used to do videos with somebody else who are, that's all gone wrong. Anyway, I just want to show you, just before we carry on, with the podcast, this is the video to watch if you want to know the full truth about everything, or what they say is the full truth. Is Exploring with Fighters. They have 355,000 subscribers, which is not bad, is it? There's a lot of buffering going on here. Hang on. For some reason, it's not coming on. Yeah, don't know why. It's coming on slowly, I think, but no. Anyway, you can see the YouTube channel there. I don't want to spend loads of time trying to. It's called Exploring with.
Different
oh, hang on.
live stream today.
It's buffering, but these guys apparently know him, and in this video, the end exploring with Dan Duffy, round 2 court documents. So apparently during this, they showed the proof that Dan Duffy actually did do the things that they say he did. But I'm not going to concentrate on that anymore. I just wanted to show you the channel. And you can find that channel if you want to see the full story. Sorry, I forgot to share that. So I'll put this on now.
That's their job. And that you're of speculation online around this case.
Put it back a little bit.
I'm in search of this lady. I want some answers, There's a lot of conspiracy theories going around on the internet, so I'm just trying to find some answers, guys. And there's quite a lot of people out today doing the search. Just normal members of the public, police. You got the sonar out. Everyone's here today.
And so what will you do with that?
I'll upload it so everyone can see. So it's like behind the scenes stuff. You do get criticism of some people saying, "Oh, why are you uploading it?" It's like, well, why is the news presenters here? Why is there people like yourself here? I'm just doing what you're doing. We're all the same.
His actions have been condemned by the police. They've been condemned by Nicola's family, and they've been condemned, not necessarily him specifically, but his action, the type of people that are doing what he is doing have been condemned for harassing the villagers as well. Some people might say, Danny, that you're enjoying this a bit too much. That you're the thrill of the chase, that you're not a detective, you're not a investigator. That's their job. And that you're enjoying the thrill of the chase a bit too much.
If that's the case, then everyone who's here now watching the guys on the boat are enjoying it too.
Maybe.
I wouldn't say I'd enjoying it, but it would be nice to discover this lady you know, and be the guy who, like, the guy known as the hero who discovered the lady. And that's what I've been trying to do. But
really, you wanted to be the guy that found her?
Yeah, like a hero sort of thing. Like, wow, you know, someone's actually found her. If someone has got a captive or something like that, you know, save her. Just like a hero, you know, real life superhero.
So he wants to be a real life superhero. So this is the guy that supposedly has fractured his 4-month-old. Now, I shouldn't say this because, to be honest, I don't know what the truth is. It could be, I mean, it's a horrible thing to say about someone if it's not true. But he's saying, oh, yeah, I'll be a real life superhero. This is a guy who's fractured supposedly his 4-month-old son's bones. If anyone knows the truth of it, please let me know, because I don't know the truth of it. I can hardly think about it. Now, because originally I would have thought this guy, Dan Duffy's gone out, and yeah, good for him. He's gone out and tried to, you know, I mean, I wouldn't have done it at the time, because it's like, you know, you've got to let the police get on with it, at least in the beginning. Now, you know, we've been, I was always saying, oh, let the police get on with it, you know, the police this and the police that. I was always waiting for the police to sort this out. Now I would think, well, no, they haven't sorted it out, and I'm really disappointed in not only the police but the coroner. I've got a lot to say about that tomorrow night as well. But this was perhaps a bit too early for him to be doing that. But he says he wanted to be a superhero. I think a lot of people, they did want to find the answer. They wanted to be the ones to find the answer of what had happened to Nicola. And you have to hope that it was for a good reason. But now I think with Dan Duffy, we don't know if it was for a good reason, because in view of what happened to his own son.
The superhero.
Yeah.
That was ringing around my head for a while, actually. The idea that he, I think, clearly saw what he was doing as genuinely helpful, but also that he wanted to put himself at the center of this story as the guy who solved it.
That feels odd. What
Yeah.
was his reason for being drawn to it?
Yeah, well, I asked him that as well. Is it possible that there's something in your life that has meant that you've been perhaps seeking the validation that this?
Yeah, in 2011, my sister passed away, and still to this day, it's an open verdict. No one knows how she died, and when stuff like this comes up, it does push me to, you know, try and get some answers, because I'm still looking for answers with my sister too.
Can I?
Did you hear what he said? His sister passed away and it was an open verdict. I wonder, actually, I must look into that. I'd like to know. Who was the coroner? Has this coroner ever given a verdict that anyone's ever been happy with? I mean, so his sister passed away, and I mean, that must have been traumatic, don't get me wrong. I feel for him, of course. His sister passed away. It was an open verdict. He's looking for answers. I expect when this happened with Nicola, it brought it all back to him. But what's the truth about this 4-month-old baby? That's what I want to know. Anyway, I'm going to play that little bit again.
Story as the guy who solved it.
That feels odd. What
Yeah.
was his reason for being drawn to it?
Yeah, well, I asked him that as well. Is it possible that there's something in your life that has meant that you've been perhaps seeking the validation that this?
Yeah, in 2011, my sister passed away, and still to this day, it's an open verdict. No one knows how she died, and when stuff like this comes up, it does push me to, you know, try and get some answers, because I'm still looking for answers with my sister too.
Can I throw a bit of amateur psychoanalysis at you?
Yeah.
Is there perhaps a possibility that you're seeking to find something here because you're still seeking closure? You're still seeking some closure in your life. Does that make sense? Would that be fair to say?
Probably. Could be. Yeah. Could be, yeah.
So Danny is clearly a complicated guy and clearly a complex character. But there is obviously a fine line when it comes to TikTok sleuthing itself between it being just a bit unhelpful and genuinely harmful. And the day after we met, Danny found that line.
Coming up.
Can you step back then, please? No, you stand back. Don't ever go to put your hand on me again. Are you here? I didn't put your hand on you. Yeah, you did. You tried putting your hand on me. You're lucky I didn't sweep you off your feet.
But first.
Hello, I'm Valentine Lowe. I'm the world correspondent of The Times. That means I write about everything from the future of the monarchy to the latest comings and goings with Harry and Meghan. Who's in, who's out, and more importantly, what it all means. We can only do this thanks to the subscribers of The Times and The Sunday Times. Subscribe today by visiting thetimes.co.uk/stories of our times.
So, Daryl, the day after you spoke to Danny, something happened to him. Just tell us a bit about that.
Yeah. Danny got into a confrontation outside a house across the river. This house across the river has become a real focal point for people's online speculation. Danny himself has been there on numerous occasions. The other thing that he does on his TikTok account is search for abandoned places, right? So he likes to kind of search through abandoned places to try to find mysteries within them. And Danny suspected this house was abandoned. I think it turns out that it actually isn't, that there is somebody there. He's been there 2 or 3 times, Danny. He knows that he'd seen a light on. He knows that somebody was in the house or around the house and kept going back. So there was a confrontation. Somebody came out. Danny was live on TikTok at the time.
Can you step back then, please? No, you stand back. Don't ever go to put your hand on me again. Are you here? I didn't put your hand on you. Yeah, you did. You tried putting your hand on me. You're lucky I didn't sweep you off your feet. Live on TikTok, mate. I'll just swept you.
Keep your lives on. Keep your lives.
Turn your legs, get back, gentlemen. Tried attacking me, this guy.
Some people were referred to as suspects, and Danny's TikTok account was suspended.
Wow. What did TikTok say about why they'd suspended his account?
Well, TikTok confirmed that they had removed Danny's account for what they described as multiple violations. And they said, we do not tolerate bullying or harassment on our platform, and we remove content that violates our policies, and we'll continue to take action where necessary. I spoke to Danny about this. I called him later in the week.
Hello?
Hey, is that Danny?
Who's that?
It's Daryl Morris here.
Oh, yeah, you all right, pal?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. How are you?
I'm all right. Just got up, just chilling with my daughter.
I just wanted to pick up on some stuff, if that's all right.
Yeah.
He said that it was all a misunderstanding, that he wasn't the one who'd called him a suspect, that he was just having a bit of fun.
It wasn't me what was saying the things. It was the other people. When I've posted the video, obviously, people have been saying this guy's a suspect and that. So I thought, you know what, I'll just have a bit of a laugh.
But that obviously isn't going to be a laugh to that person if they end up having their life ruined because they get suspected of something that they didn't do.
That guy, the way he approached us though was like bang out of order. You know what I mean? Like,
do you think that that you did perhaps a little bit step over the mark?
No. What I've been doing is helping, but I think like some of the newspapers and that are like making it look really, really bad.
Do you think you're going to carry on with this?
No. I just don't want to anger any more people in the village or anything like that. So I don't think it'd be fair because walking around with torches at night and stuff, people are just getting scared. So I don't think it's fair on the people in the village. So that's why I've chosen to back off. Don't get me wrong, I'd love to still search for the woman and stuff like that, but it's best just to leave it to the professionals.
It turns out that wasn't true. Later that day, Danny did return to the scene and he was arrested, detained by the police on a public order notice. Lancashire Constabulary released a statement saying that a 36-year-old from Darwin was arrested under Section 4 of the Public Order Act, fear, provocation of violence, and he was given a fixed penalty notice of £90. And of course, Danny filmed it all, even that was content, and posted it to his YouTube page.
And Daryl, since then, what's happened to the other online sleuths? Are they still going?
Yeah, the industry around the Nicola Bulley case on TikTok continues apace. I cannot open my TikTok app. I don't do hugely regularly, but when I do, I am bombarded with videos, with people's theories, with things that people have found online, with things that people have found rummaging through bushes, with maps, with companies' house records, with all sorts of different hypotheses. It comes at you like a steam train. Once you've...
Did you notice when he said, oh, when I open up my TikTok, oh, I don't go on it much. What a liar. He's on TikTok all the time. You can just tell. Why, this is it. He's whinging about TikTok, but he gets off his information from TikTok. Oh, God, it just makes me laugh how the people, because he works for the mainstream media or whatever, so he's whinging about TikTok, but he gets off his information from there.
Entered this realm. The algorithm, as powerful as it is, keeps throwing these things at you. And I have to say, they become very compelling. It's hard not to get lost down the rabbit hole yourself. You have to show quite a bit of resistance. You have to battle back against the power of the algorithm.
And yeah, Mal calls it an industry. An industry. Do you know what? He's just giving credence to this thing. People think you earn a fortune, on TikTok or YouTube or whatever. The only way you ever earn, you've got to have sort of thousands and thousands. I mean, I reckon you couldn't even earn a living unless you had 50,000 subscribers. Just that you could just do that for a full-time job. You'd need at least 50,000 subscribers to be sure of an income, a proper income. And then why do they think that? You're earning loads of money. Unless you can earn a lot of money. Of course you can if you build up your channel and get about 50,000. Do you think if anyone who's got less than 50,000 subscribers is earning a fortune? I mean, I don't know how it works on TikTok. I have no clue about TikTok. I don't even know if you do earn money on TikTok. I have no clue because I do have a TikTok account, but I never ever used it because I don't like it. I don't understand it. So why do they think, they're thinking of sort of top YouTubers, that have got sort of millions of subscribers. Yeah, I'm sure they do earn a lot of money, but it's just so ridiculous. And people like this on the major, he earns a lot more than if he's a regular reporter for the Times. I'm sure he earns a lot more than any YouTuber, any average YouTuber or TikToker earns.
Since last week and the search moving to the sea, things have dispersed slightly. The police actually did have a dispersal order in place for a period of 48 hours. That's now been lifted so that they were able to move people on if they felt that they were being a nuisance or they felt that they were being unhelpful. Since the search has moved, the attention has moved. That around that bench is no longer the central scene of this story. And so things have become a little bit more fractured. But the sharing of theories and hypotheses, that continues apace online. There are lots of complicated reasons that people feel drawn to the scene of a disappearance. For the women that I spoke to, for example, it was probably an emotional connection. They were mothers, daughters. They were from the area. They were probably being motivated a little bit by what they'd seen online and the true crime genre. And this idea that, being a grief junkie is just what we all sign up to in some capacity. I also spoke to one man who'd lost 4 grandchildren in a house fire.
I've had a tragic loss myself in the past.
Have you?
10 years ago, yeah.
Can I ask what?
Yeah, 4 kids got killed in a fire.
Your children?
Grandchildren. So I just like I've been through this myself. He set fire to the wardrobe and he shut the door behind him, and he made sure that they won't be able to get out. And then he went downstairs shouting fire, and it was too late then. The eldest grandson who died in the fight, the 3 kids in the bedroom, this is at night, at 11:30 at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 3 died in the bedroom. The eldest one, when he shouted fire downstairs, he went upstairs trying to rescue him. Well, he died. They all died smoking inhalation. Yeah. So I have been through it myself. I know what I feel, about Nicola's family.
That was a conversation that stopped me in my tracks, really. At that point, of course, I was looking
Yeah.
for these TikTok sleuths and vigilantes and so-called grief junkies. And when I met him, it was clear that for him, it was his own very real experience of grief that had drawn him to the scene of somebody else's, really. Grief drawn to grief. God, I'm so sorry to hear that. Is there a part of being here that helps?
Well, I'm just seeing if I can see the family and, show my sympathy to him, So I just thought I'll come down here. I'm not. Is any of the family here?
I think there was some family up there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. That's the reason. I've come up here.
So it's not that they're grief junkies and that, they want to go and wallow in somebody else's grief. It's almost as if they're still looking for a resolution to their own.
Yeah. And I think to a degree, that takes us to Danny as well, who is clearly much more complicated than that case. That was clearly a man who had suffered his own grief, who felt compelled to come to the scene of somebody else's because he wanted to offer some solidarity and support. Danny is much more complicated, but it's clear that he was looking for some closure in his own life, as well as, I think, a sense of purpose and belonging. And it's probably true to say that he was enjoying the thrill of the chase. His videos were getting millions of views, hundreds of thousands of likes, tens of thousands of comments across them. That will be causing an irresistible dopamine response. That'll tug on all the right parts of his brain. That will drive him to continue, even if his better judgment tells him to stop. And it kind of makes you think, what chance do we have in a bout like that between human and machine?
I want to be a part of something. That's probably a little bit of me, or why I'm here, because I want to be a part of something. I want to be a bit recognised. Even being honest, yeah, be nice to be recognised, maybe as doing something good. Yeah, trying to bring some closure to someone or try and uncover something.
Do you feel like you're not part of something now?
I feel like I'm a number. Like a sheep, a lost sheep, something like that. Yeah.
Things are shifting. Many of the foundations that have been the centre of our lives have been uprooted over the last couple of decades, particularly, I guess, since the pandemic. Changes in technology, work, sense of community, we've fractured into silos, and that has left a lot of people seeking a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging. And I think that we're seeing that theme in quite a lot of these extreme sorts of behaviours. Because that search for that sense of purpose and belonging can take people to extreme places, either extreme ideologies or extreme behaviours like this one. And I think that's why this is really important. I think it's really important that we understand what motivates people like Danny and listen to each other and exercise curiosity and compassion. That doesn't necessarily have to be an endorsement of what they do. As I say, it's clearly very harmful. But I do think that behind this trend, as damaging as it is, lies something human.
Okay, so what did you think of that then? What did you think of that? I found that really interesting, that podcast. I mean, obviously, you know, what they thought about TikTokers, and then what we sort of know and what has come out recently about Danny, you know. So I literally didn't know anything about him, about Dan Duffy. I honestly just did not. And I knew that I had heard that he was one of the YouTubers that was like barred from entering St. Michael's. And then he did that sort of thing where he went and he got arrested, and he even filmed his own arrest and this, that and the other. I would imagine his YouTube channel has gone now. I don't know. I haven't looked, to be honest. But because I actually don't like, you know, oh God, how can I explain? I'm all for people going there and filming and free speech and all that, but making yourself a nuisance is another thing. You know, you like I went there to St. Michael's, but I didn't get in anyone's face. I didn't try and make anyone feel uncomfortable. You know, I don't believe in that. And if you do that, you are going to get into trouble. I mean, I think we've all really, you've got to just look at it honestly. If you were just sat in your sort of living room and then someone knocked on your door and you went out there sticking a phone in your face, trying to get you to talk about something that's happened and you don't really want to because you don't want to be videoed, you just would not be happy. You would not be happy. So, you know, I think that's human and that's normal. So I think there's a way of asking people questions. Hi, ACW. There's a way of asking people questions without being obnoxious with it. And, you know, I don't know. As you say, Irish eyes, when people overdo it, doesn't help. It's bad enough when you don't overdo it, you get a load of sticks. So, you know, it's going to be even worse. But Dan, it was too much. Now, I feel like I know a bit more about him now. If his sister died and it was an open verdict, he's never really found out what happened to her. I don't expect that was very good for his mental health, but I need to know more about whatever he did to babies and dogs and things like that. I don't know, but I need to know for sure, not just rumours, not just what people say, because people say a lot of things. We have to know things that are true, you know, that are real. Anyway, there you go. So, well, you know, David, I had heard of him, but I didn't know much more about him. You know, there's obviously a lot in there. There's a lot. Do you know, I'm gesticulating as I'm talking, and I've just realised I've only got my avatar on, so you can't even see me. I'm like gesticulating into the camera as if you can actually see me. Anyway, sorry, as you know, whenever I'm finishing off, I start to read the chat and I sort of lose concentration. That's what I'm doing. So I'm going now. I'm going to go and read the chat. I'm going to watch this video through again, I expect. And we'll see. We'll see. But I just wanted to share this with you. I hope you found it interesting. And whatever anybody says about it, all I want to do is make interesting content you're interested in. If it reaches you know the way I feel about Nicola, I don't care what anyone says. I feel that there's more to this case. I have my own theories. Some of you will probably know, but I can't say what they are because I can't go around accusing people of things. I don't know. I just feel there's something more. And the more trolls that I get, let me just say, if you are a troll and you're watching this, troll away. Because the more you troll, the more I know that I'm ruffling your feathers. And ruffling your feathers is exactly what I want to do. Because if there's nothing to see here, move on, you know, all these things that people are telling us to do, I wouldn't get trolled. It'd be just like, oh, just don't listen to her, silly cow. You know, just forget, because it doesn't matter. But you know that it does matter, and it's hitting home, and that's why you're trolling. Oh, so night all. Yes, don't forget your please like. That's what I'll always ask for you. I'll see you members tomorrow night in the members live. I've got a lot of interesting things to show you tomorrow, but I expect there'll be other videos going out. Anyway, thank you so much. Night night, sleep tight. Rachel, don't let the bed bugs bite. And night all. Thank you so much. I do appreciate you all more than you even know. I honestly do. Thank you.